host, Dan McClosky. Welcome to an interview with the legendary Maria Muldaur.
Whoever said a good man's hard to find, positively, absolutely, sure was blind. I found the best that ever was. Here's some of the things he does. He shakes my ashes, greases my griddle, churns my butter, strokes my fiddle. My man is such a handy man. Yeah. He threads my needle, creams I wait. He heats my heater, chops my meat. My man is such a handy man. Don't care if you believe or not, he's good to have around. When my furnace gets too hot, he turns my damper down. For everything, he's got a scheme. I love the way he whips my cream. My man is such a handy man. Oh yeah. Well, he flaps my flapjacks, cleans off my table, feeds the horses in my stable. My man is such a handy man. Oh yeah. To say when he's working hard. Oh, I wish that you could see the way he handles my front yard. Sometimes he's up before the dawn, busy working on my lawn. My man is such a handy man, yeah. Well, my ice just seems to melt away. I get a fresh piece every day. My man is such a handy man. Oh yeah.
That's a song called Handyman, and it's on the latest album from the great and legendary singer. I'm going to give you her long name, Maria Grazia Rosa Domenica D'Amato, also known as Maria Muldaur. The album, which is her 44th as a solo artist, it's called 1 Hour Mama. It features the blues of Victoria Spivey, a blues singer who started out in the 20s and who had a really major impact on Maria Muldaur's career. Maria's been performing now for over 60 years. She's still going strong, and you can certainly hear that from her opening selection. She's won numerous awards, and she's been nominated now for 6 Grammys as well. Many of you may know Maria Muldaur from her monumental hit Midnight at the Oasis, which came out on her first solo album, and it rose to number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. We'll play just a little bit of that now.
Midnight at the Oasis, send your camel to bed, shadows painting our faces, traces There's a romance in our heads. Heaven's holding a half moon, shining just for us. Let's slip off to a sand dune real soon. Kick up a little dust. Come on, cactus is our friend. He'll point out the way. Come on, till the evening ends. Till the evening ends. You don't have to answer. There's no need to speak. I'll be your belly dancer, prancer, and you can be my sheep.
Welcome, Maria.
Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Well, you're such a great artist, and so much of your music is the kind of music that I like. So thrilled to talk with you and to listen to your music as well. Let's talk a little bit about your new album. We'll get into your history in a little while. This album, 1 Hour Mama, it's a great, great album. 12 wonderful selections on there. 6 of the songs are by Victoria Spivey. Other ones that are on here, I assume, are ones that she recorded as well.
That's right. I delved deep into her discography, which is so nice that you can do that these days. Back in the old days, you had to pour through dusty old record shops and so forth to come across one old 78 by one of these early blues artists. But now you can just type in the name Victoria Spivey and just about everything she ever recorded will float into your inbox. I had a lot of fun doing the research for this record. She was known for doing lots of naughty, bawdy, kind of risque songs, but they're not all like that. She was a very thoughtful songwriter, prolific songwriter, and so, yeah, I think she actually wrote 6 of the 12 songs on here. I also noticed that one of the songs, Any Kind of Man, was written by Hattie McDaniels, who, of course, was famous as Scarlett O'Hara's faithful maid in Gone with the Wind. You know, there's a lot of songs back in the days. These blues women kind of had liberated themselves, you know, way before the women's liberation movement, despite all odds, you know, having social restrictions and racial barriers and financial challenges, and even the church usually frowned upon them singing the blues, but they sang about life as it really was, not some sort of whitewashed version of it. And they also were very plain-spoken and unabashed about declaring what they needed, what they wanted in a good lover, and what they would and wouldn't tolerate. And so I find those songs, even though most of them were written about 100 years ago, here we are in 2025, and they still are very relevant to anybody going through this funky old life.
I don't trust nobody but the good Lord above. I don't trust nobody, baby, but the good Lord above. And outside of my mother, there's nobody else I love. Why, they will love you and fool you, make you spend all your dough. Love you and fool you, make you spend all your dough. After they get what they want, why, they don't like you no more. So-called friends, all in seat 2, waiting for a chance to double-cross you. This ain't no place for me. While I'm going up the country, I mean across the deep blue sea.
We're hearing Victoria Spivey singing her song, Don't Trust Nobody Blues. What is your history with Victoria Spivey? Because you actually got to know her, and she had a big effect on your life. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Well, way back in the 1960s, during the folk revival of the 60s, or as my friend John Sebastian likes to call it, the folk scare of the 60s, it was a time when a lot of people in the urban north were discovering and exploring all kinds of American roots music, most of which came out of the rural South. And I was a young gal of about 18, 19 years old, and I was just totally immersed in the scene. I was learning to play old-timey fiddle music. I was singing in a bluegrass quartet with David Grisman. I also loved the blues. I had found a couple of old Bessie Smith records and had learned a few of her tunes. And so I was just fully engaged in learning as much as I could about this kind of music. There was a woman on the scene, an older African-American woman by the name of Victoria Spivey, who had been a contemporary of Bessie Smith and Ma Rainey and Sippie Wallace and those classic blues queens of the 20s, and had had a successful career back in those days. But of course, then when that music waned in popularity, she was a real survivor. So she had moved to New York City. And by the time I first became aware of her, she must have been in her late 60s. And she was smart enough, savvy enough to have her own record label, Spivey Records. I would see her out on the scene kind of talent scouting for her record company. In fact, she was the first person to ever record Bob Dylan long before Columbia ever heard of him. She had seen him in the Village, and she had him come play harmonica on a few cuts she was doing for some veteran blues artists at the time.
I found a picture of her with Dylan on the internet.
That photo's kind of well known because he put it on the back of one of his early albums, I think, to give a nod to her for kind of encouraging him and being the first to ever record him in a recording studio. But anyway, she had seen some of my friends. Some of my friends had formed a jug band, and they called it the Even Dozen Jug Band. It must have reminded her of jug band music that was popular in the 20s and 30s, which was, her era. And she had told them she'd give them a record contract. Well, they were just over the moon about that because back in those days, we were all just sort of scrambling and bumbling along, trying to learn more about this music and how to play it and how to sing it. But the thought of being on an album was just beyond our wildest dreams. So they came to me one day. Apparently what happened was she had gone to one of their rehearsals and had ended up telling them, "You boys play real good, but y'all need some sex appeal up there." She said, "Why don't you get that little gal I saw down there in the park playing the fiddle and singing? Now you get her in your band and you'll really have something." So they had come to me with this proposal. And so the first thing I said was, "Well, what's a jug band?" So they kind of explained that. And then since it was way before women's liberation, I didn't even think to be offended to be asked to join a band but merely because of my sex appeal. So I said, "Sure, sounds like fun. Sign me up."
Come on in, ain't nobody above me. Come on in, ain't nobody above me. Oh, sit right down, let's have some fun. My wife gone out on an all-night run. Come on in, ain't nobody above me. Now come on in, ain't nobody above me. Oh, come on in, ain't nobody above me. Oh, take this, take some of that, take anything in the doggone flat. Come on in, ain't nobody above me.
So from that point on, she took me under her wing and would take me to her apartment and pour through old 78s and play me some of these early blues recordings by people like Bessie Smith, who I did already know about. And Memphis Minnie, she's the first person that ever played me a Memphis Minnie tune.
Come up home, ain't no time, ain't nobody there but me. Come up home, ain't no time, ain't nobody there but me. Oh, your mama wanna buy you a cold Coca-Cola. Play one piece on your doggone grapanola. Come up home, don't be scared, ain't nobody there but me. Have me talking, ain't nobody there but me. Come up home, ain't no time, ain't nobody there but me. Come up home, don't be scared, ain't nobody there but me. Oh, your mama wanna bake you a nice fat duck, just to learn me how to do that truck. Come up home, ain't no time, ain't nobody there but me. Have me talking, ain't nobody there but me. Oh, play now.
Memphis Minnie also ended up being a huge influence on me and my music. Anyway, and she played me some of her early recordings, and she tried to find songs that would be suitable for my young voice, because I didn't have the, full tilt, powerful blues voice I have now. I was just a young thrush at the time. So anyway, and she would give me pointers. She would say, "Now, honey, you listen to me. It ain't enough to get up there and sing good. You got to look good too. You got to get up there and strut your stuff and make all eyes be on you." And then she leaned in and looked at me very meaningfully and said, "That's what they call stage presence." And I just took it all in and said, "Yes, ma'am." And when I think of it now, it just blows my mind. She saw me from far away, saw me playing at some hootenannies and jams, and just kind of said, "That little gal, she's got something." Even though I was completely undeveloped and unformed at the time. And she took the time and energy to try to encourage me and support me and give me pointers. And so what happened was, I was in Memphis 2 years ago. They were going to induct Victoria Spivey into the Blues Hall of Fame, and they knew about my connection to her. And they asked, "Would you like to get up and give a few remarks and tell people about Victoria Spivey and so forth?" So I said, "Of course." So I did. And then they came up and gave me this plaque, which was for her, but there was no one from her family there. So I took the plaque back to my seat, and a light bulb went on over my head. And I thought, wow, I've done these tribute albums to a lot of other blues artists that I greatly admire. I should take it all around full circle and do a tribute album for Victoria Spivey. So that's how this album came about. And I'm thrilled that I found this wonderful, relatively new blues label, NOLA Blues. I just spent the last few months making the album. I'm very excited about it. We had a lot of fun making the album. I did some cuts in New Orleans with a wonderful street band of young musicians called Tuba Skinny. Victoria Spivey had back in the day done a lot of duets with the great jazz and blues guitar pioneer Lonnie Johnson. And even when they were older, they were still friends and still performed together. And so I found two great duets and recorded one with my old friend Elvin Bishop. We had so much fun doing this song. It's called "What Makes You Act Like That?"
Now you're the only gal that I've met that's got something I just can't get. What make you act like that? What make you act like that? Ain't no way to treat me. What make you act like that?
Well, every time that I see you, you got something else to do that makes me act like that. That's why I act like that. Ain't no way to treat me. That's why I act like that.
Mama, you know just what I'm wild about. Mama, you got it, but you just ain't putting it out. What makes you act like that? What makes you act like that? Well, that ain't no way to treat me. What makes you act like that?
I want some of that dough you got, but you say that you will not. That's why I act like that. That makes me act like that. Ain't no way to treat me. That's why I act like that.
Mama, you don't make the others pay, but then you turn around and turn me down every day. What makes you act like that? What makes you act like that? Well, that ain't no way to treat me. What makes you act like that?
Why do you keep on hanging around when you know that I done turn you down? What makes you act like that? Why do you keep on acting like that, honey? Ain't no way to treat me. What makes you act like that?
What Makes You Act Like That? That's a great song, a duet with Elvin Bishop, and he's just singing on that, huh? He didn't want to play guitar, I guess.
Well, no, we had already cut the track, and I want to tell you something about that track because I'm really proud of it. I had Danny Karen, who was just one of my favorite guitarists of all time. He used to play with Charles Brown, and he played with Dan Hicks, and he's one of my favorite guitar players because he's sort of right on the cusp between jazz and blues, and that's kind of where I hang out. And that's kind of where Lonnie Johnson was at, too. I mean, he was well respected in both genres. We thought that the guitar solos that were on the original recording were so cool. We thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could duplicate that just to let all the people, the contemporary listeners, hear how cool this stuff was. So as a real labor of love, Danny learned every note that Lonnie Johnson played, and it took a special guitarist to do that. I'm very proud of that, not just because of the wonderful performance with Elvin, but because Danny, just brought to life those brilliant guitar licks that Lonnie Johnson just played with such ease and nonchalance. He was really something.
I've found a recording of that with Victoria Spivey and with Lonnie Johnson. I'd like to just play just a short segment of that here, just so people can hear how great Lonnie Johnson was and how great Danny Karen did on his version of it.
That's what makes you act like that. Now you know just what I'm wild about. Mama, you got it, but you just ain't putting it out. What makes you act like that? Oh, what makes you act like that? That ain't no way to treat me. What makes you act like that?
Well, dear, I'm not giving away anything. I want some of that dough you got, but you say that you will not. That's why I act like that. That's what make me act like that. There ain't no way to treat me. That's why I act like that.
Now get a load of this.
When you met Victoria Spivey, was she still performing? Had you heard her play?
Yes, she was. She hung out. There was this place called Gertie's Folk City that one of many folk clubs in Greenwich Village in New York City. But that's where most of us hung out. And unlike a lot of the folk clubs, this had a real bar. So most of us could be found there on several nights a week. And she would just be sitting on a stool, kind of observing everybody and who was playing. And because she was talent scouting for her label. She was amazingly enterprising. I mean, she was in her late 60s at the time. And as far as I know, she is one of the first, if not the first, artist to be savvy enough to have her own record label. So, yeah, I did hear her perform, and she was great. And she performed with great sass and attitude. She even at that age, she had great stage presence. She just had it going on.
Well, I watched a YouTube video with her that was done towards the later part of her life, and exactly what you say, the way she looks at the camera, the way she moves, and her phrasing, everything. I mean, she was a real show person.
Yeah, she wasn't. She not only recorded in the 20s and early 30s, but also had a starring role in one of the first all-black cast movies. She was later in stage musicals. She did it all. She had her own, besides having her own record label, she had a little blues newsletter that she put out about once a month or so. This was in the 60s. So she was a very ambitious and versatile and enterprising woman and a great role model for me.
Oh, that's great. You grew up in New York City, in Greenwich Village, I think on 12th Street between 6th and 7th Avenues, which is right near the Vanguard, which is one of the greatest jazz clubs in the world. And I actually read that you used to stop by there on your way home, listen on the steps to hear Bill Evans and other jazz artists. Is that correct?
That is correct. I mean, I was so blessed to be in a little neighborhood that was the epicenter of all things hip, all kinds of artists, sculptors, poets, musicians, and not just jazz musicians, of course, the folk musicians. It was all going on there. So I used to hear this wonderful jazz coming. The club was downstairs, and of course I was way underage, but I would just sit at the top of the stairs and listen to the likes of Bill Evans and Cannonball Adderley and Horace Silver and so many jazz greats that were performing all the time down there. I had a friend named Jeremy Steig. I went to Hunter College High School, and he went to music and art. And he went on to become a pretty well-known jazz flute player. We'd sneak out of the house, our respective houses, lie about our age, and he would take me to these different jazz clubs. And one night he took me to the 5 spot to hear Thelonious Monk, who was sitting there. It was a rainy spring night. There were maybe, 12 people in the audience, and Thelonious Monk was there playing solo piano. It was quite amazing. So, like I say, that's just one of many encounters I was lucky enough to have with some of the greatest artists that were playing at that time.
On the scene, yeah. Your first music that you liked was country music.
That's right. I was a little Italian-American girl growing up in Greenwich Village, and my mom just wanted me to listen to classical music because she thought that was what refined, as she called it. But she had a mischievous younger sister, my Aunt Katie, who loved what she called cowboy music, which was the early country and western music of the day. Remember, I was a little girl in the early 40s. She could tune in this country music station from New Jersey, and we listened every morning. I would stay over at her house because my mom would leave me with my grandmother when my mom taught school, so sometimes I'd stay over there. And as Aunt Katie was getting ready to go to work, we'd be listening to Hank Williams, Hank Thompson, Hank Snow, a lot of guys named Hank, come to think of it, and Ernest Tubb, people like that. And I learned all those songs. And she'd come home from work and start playing the piano. And she played sort of very rudimentary, fractured honky-tonk piano. And the very first song I can remember singing at age 5 was It Wasn't God Who Made Honky-Tonk Angels, which was by Kitty Wells, a wonderful country singer who wrote and recorded many, many wonderful songs.
As I sit here tonight, the jukebox playing the tune about the wild side of life. As I listen to the words you are saying, it brings memories when I was a trustful wife. It wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels, as you said in the words of your song. Too many times married men think they're still single. That has caused many a good girl to go wrong.
I'm thinking of doing a tribute to her, as a matter of fact.
Interesting.
Then I'll really have brought it all back all around full circle.
Yeah. So initially country music, and then you started listening to R&B and some of the blues you could find on the radio as a teenager.
I just would tune in, and I started listening to the early R&B stations that were always at the very edge of the radio dial, you know, putting out about 2 watts of power. That's when I first heard Muddy Waters, Little Walter, Ruth Brown, and so many of the early R&B artists. It was just as R&B was just starting to morph into rock and roll, and I was tuned into all of it. And I had a girls' doo-wop group in junior high called the Cameos, and then in high school I formed another girls' doo-wop group, and we called it the Cashmeres.
Yeah, sounds very classy.
Yeah, and I guess since I first heard Kitty Wells, I've been tuned into music all my life.
Yeah. Maria, how about another song from the 1 Hour Mama album, The Blues of Victoria Spivey?
All right. Well, a cut I'm very proud of is one that Victoria Spivey wrote, and it's called Don't Love No Married Man. And that's an example of a song that was written 100 years ago, but it has an eternally relevant theme that still resonates. One of the things I enjoyed a lot about making this album was I didn't get to collaborate with some of my old pals like Elvin Bishop and Taj Mahal, but I was very gratified to find and get to collaborate with a lot of younger musicians who I'm very pleased to find out are really embracing this kind of vintage blues and jazz and playing it just beautifully. And so on this recording, 2 of the guys from the California Honeydrops, which is a great band and a very, very popular band, both played on this album with me. On this cut you hear my piano player, Chris Burns, playing piano, and Danny Karen playing guitar, and this wonderful, soulful sax player from the California Honeydrops, Johnny Bones, is playing this sort of soulful, kind of mournful sax playing as I'm singing the song. So here it is. Girls, this is some good advice. Don't love no married man.
Let me tell you what a married man will do. Oh, let me tell you what a married man will do. He'll make you love him, then stay away from you. Well, he will swear he loves you more than he loves his life. He will swear he loves you more than he loves his life. Then he'll go on home and tell that same lie to his wife. Well, a married man can love you in such a different way. A married man can love you in such a different way. The reason he's so good, he gets practice every day. Well, he'll stay out all night with you and ballyhoo. Well, he'll stay out all night with you and ballyhoo. But when he's with his wife, he won't even look at you. When you tell him he's got you in a fix, oh, when you tell him he's got you in a fix, he'll say, that's all right, mama, didn't you get your kicks? I love a married man, they call him two-time and dad. I love a married man, they call him two-time and dad. I can't get him when I want him, I have to take him when I can.
That's a song called Don't Love No Married Man, and it's by Maria Muldaur, and that's who we are talking with today. There's another selection on this album. It's called TB Blues. It's also written by Victoria Spivey. What I'd like to do is play Victoria Spivey's version of it, play just a minute or so of that, and then morph into your version of it, just so they can hear how great she sounded and how great you sounded and your interpretation on it.
Thank you. I chose that song because it's one of the few songs that is, she was pretty well known for doing kind of naughty, bawdy, risque songs, but this is one that's dead serious. And I understand she had TB. I mean, back in those days, TB could very often be a deadly disease. They didn't have a cure for it. And so I think it's a very mournful song. But I also, as a kid, had TB. And it was a very mild case, and I wasn't very sick at all. But that was something that resonated with me, and I just loved how she wrote about it. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to include that on this album.
TV's alright to have if your friends didn't treat you so low down. TV's alright to have if your friends didn't treat you so low down. Don't you ask them for no favors, they even stop coming around. Oh, TV's killing me. TV's killing me. Well, I feel just like a prisoner, always wishing he's free. When I was on my feet, I could not walk down the street for the men looking at me from my head to my feet. But oh, this TV's killing me. Well, I want my body buried in the deep blue sea. Well, the tuberculosis consumption's killing me.
So that's TB Blues, and you heard the wonderful version of it by Maria Muldaur, and before that, a little bit of Victoria Spivey on the original. You did other albums with the greats. You mentioned Memphis Minnie. I wondered if you could talk just briefly about which album that was and her effect on you as well. Did you get a chance to see her, to meet her?
No, she passed away in 1973 after being kind of incapacitated for a few years with a stroke. So, as I mentioned earlier, I first heard Memphis Minnie at Victoria Spivey's apartment when she played me a few old 78s of hers, and I was immediately arrested by her voice and her delivery. And I looked everywhere for other songs by her, but it wasn't until the early 70s when Chris Drakowitz put out a compilation of Memphis Minnie tunes on an LP, so there were like 12 or 13 songs. And then I became a full-fledged, lifelong fan of Memphis Minnie and got to do an album called First Came Memphis Minnie on Stony Plain Records about a dozen years ago. I think it came out in 2012. I'm sure by now everybody knows who Memphis Minnie is, but she not only sang the blues, she wrote and recorded over 200 of her own songs and also played absolutely bitchin' guitar and had not one but several husbands over the course of her career who also played guitar. So she would form, a little act with them, keeping all the money in the family. And she did some wonderful duets with Kansas Joe, and I got to do a couple of them with Taj Mahal and Elvin Youngblood Hart. So, yeah, Memphis Minnie's very near and dear to my heart. She was very inspirational to me because she led her life in a very independent way that didn't take no crap from nobody, and she was just a very prolific and imaginative songwriter, and people are still inspired by her to this day.
I heard she was a pretty tough gal. You didn't want to get on her wrong side.
No, not at all. And she would often do these kind of cutting contests, they're called, where different blues guitarists would get up and try to outdo each other with their prowess on the guitar, and she would often win. And the prize was always a bottle of whiskey. There's a famous night where she outplayed Big Bill Brunzi. So, yeah, she was bad. She was the coolest.
Wow. What's a selection we should play from that album?
How about one she did with Kansas Joe, a great back and forth duet called I'm Going Back Home. And I was blessed to have the great Elvin Youngblood Hart come into the studio and do that duet with me.
Okay, we'll play that, and we'll play a little bit of Memphis Minnie's version of that as well.
When I was at home, I was rested and ease. Now you got me here, you're trying to mistreat me. I'm going back home. I'm going back home. I'm going back home where I know I get better care. Oh, mercy, dear, you caused my heart. I prayed it long that we must part. You learn to love you most all the rest. You're leaving me wreaking happiness. Oh, honey, baby, mama, please don't go. I got something to tell you, no, it's gonna break your heart. We've been together a good while, but now we got to part. I'm going back home. I'm going back home. I'm going back home where I know I get better care.
I got something to tell you, no, it's gonna break your heart. We've been together for a while, but now it's time to part. I'm going back home. I'm going back home. I'm going back home where I know I get better care.
I'll count the hours that you're gone. Think of you, wish you was back home. Oh, mercy, dear, don't you know? Oh, baby, know I love you so.
I done told you once, I done told you twice. If you don't mind, you're gonna lose your life. I'm going back home. I'm going back home. I'm going back home where I know I get better care.
My lonesome heart will shake with fear every hour that you're not here. Let every hour represent itself. I'm not at ease with anyone else. Oh, honey, baby, mama, please don't go.
You ought to told me that 2-3 weeks ago. When you had your money, thought you wouldn't get broke. I'm going back home. I'm going back home. I'm going back home where I know I get better care.
I'll hunger long for you evermore. I'm asking you, dear, please don't go. I'll tell you this, ain't gonna lie. The day you leave me, that's the day you die. Oh, honey, baby, mama, please don't go.
Let's play another selection from the new album, 1 Hour Mama. This is the title track. Anything you'd like to tell us about this one?
Well, this sort of sums up what I was talking about earlier. This is one of those early blues tunes where these women, and just remember now, this was the 1920s, way before the sexual revolution, but there they are just boldly singing about the requirements they expect from their lover, you know, what they expect him to be able to do and satisfy them and so forth. And what I also like about the song is that they couch it in metaphors. It's not as sort of blatantly, graphically in your face as like a lot of today's song lyrics would be. It's more tongue-in-cheek and more sort of poetically described without going into graphic detail. And to me, actually, that's sexier and funnier. And I think you'll hear what I mean when you play this song, 1 Hour Mama.
I've always heard that haste makes waste, so I believe in taking my time. The highest mountain can't be raised, it's something you must slowly climb. I want a slow and easy man, he needn't ever take the lead. 'Cause I work on that long time planning, I ain't a-looking for no speed. 'Cause I'm a 1 hour mama, no 1 minute papa. ain't the kind of man for me. It takes a long time, Papa, 1 hour that's proper, to love me like I long to be. Why, I don't want no lame excuses about my loving being so good that you couldn't wait no longer. Now I hope I'm understood, 'cause I'm a 1 hour mama, no 1 minute papa, ain't the kind of man for me. Well, I don't want no greenhorn lover, like a rookie going to war, with a load of big artillery, but he don't know what it's for. He's got to bring me a reference with a great long pedigree, and must prove he's got endurance, or he don't mean naught to me. I can't stand no crowing rooster, one that hits a lick or two. Why, action is the only booster of what my man must do. No, I don't want no imitation, 'cause my requirements ain't no joke. And I get full indignation for a guy that's lost his stroke, 'cause I'm a 1 hour mama, no 1 minute papa, ain't the kind of man for me. It takes a long time, Papa, 1 hour that's proper, to love me like I long to be. Why, I may want love for an hour, then decide to make it 2. It takes an hour before I get started, maybe 3 before I'm through, 'cause I'm a 1 hour mama, no 1 minute papa, ain't the kind of man for me. I mean, he ain't the kind of man for me.
1 hour mama, that's great. You did one on an earlier album, The Nasty Body Blues, the music of Lulu Barker, Bow-Legged Daddy, and it's kind of, would you say it's in the same vein? I mean, as far as, I guess, just a risque song.
Yeah, that's another original blues woman that I had the blessing to get to meet and to become friends with, because back in 1974, when I was making my first solo album for Warner Brothers, I had the thrill and privilege of working with Dr. John. And Dr. John, was from New Orleans, and he came into the studio and not only played fabulous piano, but also had a lot of great ideas. And one day he came into the studio and said he had a song he thought would work for me, and took out a little cassette and played Lulu Barker singing Don't You Feel My Leg, which she had recorded in 1942, the year I was actually born.
Don't you feel my leg? Don't you feel my leg? 'Cause if you feel my leg, you want to feel my thigh. And if you feel my thigh, you want to go up high. So don't you feel my leg? Don't you buy?
It was her sort of most popular song that she was best known for. I loved it, and we put it on the album, and it turned out that it got almost as many requests for radio airplay as Midnight at the Oasis did. And to this day, 51 years after the album came out, people still request that tune.
Don't you feel my leg? Don't you feel my leg? 'Cause if you feel my leg, you're gonna feel my thigh. And if you feel my thigh, you're gonna go up high. So don't you feel my leg? Don't you buy no ride? Don't you buy no ride? 'Cause if you buy me right, you're gonna make me high. And if you make me high, you get a big surprise. So don't you buy no ride.
So in about 2018, I got the opportunity to do a tribute album to Lulu Barker, and in doing the research, discovered to my delight that she and her husband, Danny Barker, had actually written and recorded dozens and dozens of songs equally naughty and bawdy and funny and clever as Don't You Feel My Leg, you know, with titles like Loan Me Your Husband and the one you mentioned, Bow-Legged Daddy. In fact, I'd love you to play one or both of those. Those are two of my favorites off that album. I mean, just think of this. This is early 1940s, and these people were just hipsters way
Absolutely.
before their time. I still do that. I do that in my shows all the time. People love that song. And by the way, that album, which was called Don't You Feel My Leg, The Naughty Bawdy Blues of Lulu Barker, was nominated for a Grammy, I'm thrilled to say, and also for a blues award. But I'm very proud of that. It shows that this music, which is created almost 100 years ago, is still relevant and people still want to hear it, and people are still
Absolutely.
delighted
It just
by
made
it.
me think of, some of the other ones, like on your second album, It Ain't the Meat, It's the Motion.
Yeah, I guess I've always had a penchant for doing slightly risque songs. We can blame that on Victoria Spivey, since she was my earliest mentor, but let's face it, you can do all the sensitive artistic songs you want, but the crowd always wants to hear those slightly nasty ones.
Absolutely.
I got a bow-legged daddy who rides my horse all day. I got a bow-legged daddy who rides my horse all day. I got a jockey boy who rides in a special way. I got a bow-legged daddy who keeps my stable warm. I got a bow-legged daddy who keeps my stable warm. I got a jockey boy who keeps my horse in real fine form. He's good in the saddle, and when he mounts, he knows how to rock, he knows how to bounce, he never gets tired, he knows how to last. He climbs on slowly, doesn't get off fast. I got a bow-legged daddy who rides my horse all day. I got a jockey boy who rides in a special way. Oh, ride me now. I got a bow-legged daddy who's good on my racetrack. And when it comes to love, he sure can lead the pack. He rides in easy, he rides out slow, and when he gets started, it's whoa, right or whoa. I got a bow-legged daddy who rides my horse all day. I got a jockey boy who rides in a special way.
There's a really good selection on your new album. It's called Gotta Have What It Takes, and this is with Taj Mahal. And you've actually done some other recordings with Taj Mahal before this.
Yes, indeed. I've recorded with him several times over the last 25 years or so. Of course, I've known him since about 1962 when he first came down to the Village to play at Gertie's Folk City. That's when I first met him. And we've been pals ever since. And I thought he'd be perfect for one of these Victoria Spivey, Lonnie Johnson duets. and we had a ball doing it in the studio. And this is another song where the gal is saying, honey, you got to measure up or else nothing's going to happen,
Yep.
Taj, of course, just gave a wonderful performance of that. He just had the right attitude, and we had fun doing it.
Gotta have what it takes.
Daddy,
What is it, Mama?
Daddy,
Oh, what is it, baby?
your mama's getting tired of you.
What for, honey? Mama? Sweet mama? Tell me what you trying to do.
You may fool some by playing dumb. Perhaps you think you're cute.
I am cute, baby. And as much loving as I give you, baby, do you mean sweet papa, he don't sue?
That's what I mean. You got to have what it takes.
Oh, I got it.
Or else I'll give you no more break.
Oh, you ain't give me none yet, baby.
I'm full of pep.
Oh, you is?
But I'm afraid.
Afraid of what?
That you are so old.
I am.
You can't make the grade.
Oh, yes, I can.
You got to have what it takes.
Wait, I got this, baby.
I want it all, for goodness sake.
You can get this.
I'll never fret.
No.
As long as I get.
You can get it, baby.
Daddy, just what it takes. Now you may be hot.
So hot.
You may be cute.
Oh, yes, I'm cute.
To them what likes your stuff.
Oh, they crazy about
Oh, but you are just
it. Not what?
the kind to suit this mama by a lot.
Honey, don't say that.
You got to have what it takes.
Oh, I got it.
And not the kind the drugstore made.
What kind is that?
You must be hot
I am.
and have your soul on fire.
Ooh.
And bring me, Daddy, what it takes.
Oh, baby.
You got to have what it takes.
I said I got that.
And not the kind the drugstore made.
Where is this drugstore?
I tell you flat, you must be tight like that.
Ooh.
And bring me, Papa, what it takes. I mean, bring me, Daddy, what it takes.
I'll bring it, honey.
One of the great things that you've done is expose a lot of people over the years to this early music. And just doing research for this interview, I had a chance to listen. Hadn't really listened to Memphis Minnie or Blue Lou Barker. There was another one, Sippie Wallace.
Sippie Wallace.
Yeah.
That's another woman that she was also a contemporary of Bessie Smith's, recording and having hits in the 20s and early 30s.
You actually got to link up with her when you were with the Jim Kweskin Band. Is that right? Can you tell me about that?
The Jug Band got a tip that she was this is in the mid-60s, that Sippie Wallace was living in retirement in Detroit and just playing at a local church on Sunday. And so we flew out to Detroit and coaxed her out of retirement and brought her to New York. We backed her up in a concert at Town Hall and then at a Newport Folk Festival. And then we went on to record her. We also enlisted Otis Spann because none of us played piano, so we flew him in from Chicago. So there's another blues classic woman artist that I just, by being in the right place at the right time, had the blessing of getting to know and record with. A couple of years later, Bonnie Raitt took her on the road opening for her. And so we took her out of retirement, and she enjoyed another 20 years of a good career.
I hear everybody saying that I'm fine in everything I do. I got all the men crying. I'm a rose that never feels blue. All I want is a good man
It's really been a pleasure to talk to you. Really like this new album, and I'm going to play another cut from that before we go here. It's great that you're honoring Victoria Spivey and then the other artists that otherwise we wouldn't know about, probably, especially for a lot of young people. So it's a great service, what you've done, and it's great music. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. Let's go out with one more selection, this one written by Clarence Williams.
Clarence Williams was a great piano player from back in the day. This is one of the cuts I did in New Orleans with the wonderful band of young street musicians, Tuba Skinny. This is one of Victoria Spivey's most popular songs, and again, full of double entendre. It's called Organ Grinder.
All right, we're going to go out with Organ Grinder Blues. Maria Muldaur, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Organ grinder, organ grinder, organ grinder, play that melody. Take your organ and grind some more for me. Grind it, no. Grind it, no. Grind it south and grind it east and west. When you grind it slow, I like it the best. Organ grinder, organ grinder. Oh, you don't have to pass your hat no more. You're the grinder I've been waiting for.
You've been listening to an interview that I conducted with the legendary singer Maria Muldaur. What a pleasure to get a chance to talk with her. This is Dan McClosky saying thanks so much for listening.
Organ grinder, organ grinder. Your sweet music seems to ease my mind. It's not your organ, but it's the way you grind. Organ grinder, organ grinder, organ grinder. Don't tell me you're through. If you are tired, let mama grind a while for you.